Hello, everybody. All right.
Hi, Georgina. Hi, Dr. Murray.
Good
Hey,
morning,
how are
good
you?
evening, ladies.
Hey, how are
Yeah.
you?
Are you ready for the new year and getting into shape? And I'm excited because
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
talking to the professionals here. My name's Angelica Corral, filmmaker in San Diego, California. And we have Georgina Salgado Chavez in Chicago, that is a specialist in nutrition and holistic health, and Dr. Murray as well. Dr. Murray, you're in, is it Minnesota?
Yeah, northern Minnesota, correct. Yeah,
Awesome, I got that right. So
yes, indeed.
let's hear it. What can I do about getting in shape this year? This is the goal that I have. I
Hmm.
want to be healthy. I want to be strong so that I can continue to make a difference just like you guys do. So let's hear it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you know what it is? It's a great year to be kind of reclaiming our health. We've had a couple of years that have been pretty difficult, and we've all been juggling things for such a long time. That 2022, we're going to make a fantastic year. We're going to just make it a year that we're going to, I know with my patients and my brick and mortar and my telemed, all of our focus is really focused on creating a better me or a better you for this entire year. So we're very, very excited about it.
Awesome.
Good.
How
What
about
was
you,
that?
Georgina?
What was that?
I think
Well,
there's an alligator.
all right. Um, this is the year that you have to be fit and healthy. I think that all of us, we should concern about our health. We've been having problems with COVID really bad. So now we have to
Yeah.
start focusing on how we can improve our health,
Hmm. Yeah.
versus just looking fit and looking nice and dandy and stuff like that. And forget about the surgeries, forgetting about the shortcuts, the cutting corners thing. We have to do it the right way, because
Yeah.
otherwise, we jeopardizing our health, our life, our body right now. So this is a perfect time to do that. This is the year that we have to go ahead and focus in health more than anything else. So I think that weight loss is the first thing that you have to do. And weight loss is, I think, is the beginning of a new shift of mentality for most of us.
Hmm.
Starting with the belly, correct?
The belly is the worst, right? Dr. Murray, the belly fat, it is a sign of few things. Number one,
Right.
you probably can be pre-diabetic. So diabetes is not fun. I always tell people, and I tell you see, I don't have diabetes, thank God. I don't have nobody around me that has diabetes, thank God. But I saw my patients. I seen my patients, and when you see them, to me, it's a slow death, because it's like they taking away little by little stuff. It's very sad to see them. Like everything, it affects every single aspect in their life. For instance, the skin, some people don't even notice that they have different colors, the darker colors. Like for instance, here they have a darker stains. The lower limbs, they always purplish, really ugly. That's one thing. The aesthetics of your body change. They lose a lot of the hair. The skin is really rough and everything really bad. And also too, you know, it's not just that, it's on top of it, all the symptoms and the quality of life that they have, and is really bad. So
Mhm.
that's one of the things that we have to start switching, versus just to look good. Because a lot of people, they go like the surgeries, right? But the surgeries, they make you look good, but they don't improve your health.
Mhm.
That's the
Right.
thing. Okay, and this is the thing that we try to get a message, instead of you just getting cut corners or doing things, but you don't improve your health. You got to do it the right way. So
Right.
I don't know about you, Dr. Murray.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree. So in my practice, we have a program that basically very heavily acknowledges what you just said. So people, a lot of times, the aesthetics are what draws them in. So we have a program. We have slimming lasers, and it's all natural. Causes the body to create a micropore, and it spits out the fat. And we've had people lose 31 inches in 2 weeks safely. All right, and actually keep it off, because we actually enroll them in what's called a take it off keep it off and get healthy. But what brings them in the door is, look, I need to get rid of some of me. Okay, I don't want it so much of me. Okay, I want to look better on the beach or whatever, and that's fine. That's the point of departure for them in beginning the new them. All right, but I always spend time helping creating a vision for themselves. For what's really cool about this is you can be taking off. We can take this off, but we're going to actually help you introduce some ideas that you can do for you, okay, that help you start to slim up and look better and feel better, and like your digestion will improve, your hormones will improve, your sleep will improve, etc. All of these things start getting just tremendously better, and so now they start to create this positive momentum that's life changing, and it all begins with, hey, let's take some inches off, okay? But it is definitely what you're saying, and what's really interesting is I think a lot of people that we're probably going to get they're going to log on is and join us here is they're going to find that they've experienced some of that every year I seem to be falling apart more and more and more, and you get this momentum that you were talking about earlier. What's really cool about that is that's a two-way street, okay? That you got there by doing certain things that got you where you are. And the great thing is if you start making certain choices, you can start to go the other way. And it is entirely possible. And I've seen this at any age. I've seen people come in at 80 years old and say, I need a healthier me. And it's like, wow, what kind of things they've had a lot. They go through a litany of bad habits. And I say, good news, you can do something about this. I'll try if you will. And we see all kinds of changes. So it's really pretty cool.
Now,
So what kind of things do you suggest, Dr. Murray and Georgina?
for what? For losing weight?
Yes.
First thing first, the first thing, drinking water. A lot of people, they forget about drinking water. It's just the simplest thing, the most simplistic thing, but without that, it's nothing else. If you don't drink enough water, and you make it a habit to drink water, it has nothing to do with how many cups of coffee, has nothing to do how many pops, anything else. We drink plain water, and then life, it will change automatically right there and then. So this is the thing. You got to start from baby steps, right? So, and I think that drinking water will be the first thing. Now, the other thing too, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the gurus out there, they're giving you things from 100 years ago. 100 years ago, our environment is completely different than now.
Right.
Right now, we have the statistics that they are so like, like for instance, and by the year 2032, they believe that one kid born after 2000 is going to be diabetic. So out of the 3 kids, one of them is going to be diabetic. Did you know that's a lot of people?
Yeah.
Out
That's
of
big.
3 kids, one of them, out of 2 kids, I'm sorry, one of them is going to be and that there's a spectrum.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Then on top of it, right now everybody thinks that at the age of 40, you have to have some sort of medication. You have to have a chronic disease in order to be normal. That's not really normal, okay? Now, cancer is, it is outrageous, the amounts of cancers. Now, autoimmune disorders, all these things, just diabetes alone that is related with obesity and overweight, okay, is 35% of the population in the United States is diabetic, but 60% of the population is either diabetic or pre-diabetic. So we have a lot of problems right now. So, and this is the thing is when I was telling you about COVID, we have to start switching our mindset about that, because we were not healthy. We are not healthy anymore. And part of the problem is that a lot of people has a lot of misconceptions. 100 years ago, yes, it was something to do with diet and exercise. But right now, it's not even relevant anymore. Because even if you do exercise and diet, nothing works. Like I see a lot of people that they believe in, they just eating certain food is going to get better. It's not working anymore. Why? Because our environment is different. We have tons of toxins in our environment.
There you
You
go.
know, toxins like I can tell you a bunch of stuff in the air. You know, we having stuff in our drinking water, in our food. I mean, you name it. And just some of the toxins they always talk about is like, for instance, heavy metals. Where do you get heavy metals from? I mean, you don't work in a mine, but we get it through, unfortunately, medicine. You know, like vaccines, like the amalgams, for
Uh,
instance. You know, like the stuff that you use for you, like contact lens, the little water. You know, they have mercury traces on it. I mean, the water that we drink. You know, we have a lot of lead. We have in arsenic in the water. We have a lot of stuff. Even, you know, these what is it called? Pharmaceuticals are there for psychiatric medication. So
oh
we
yeah,
have a lot of that stuff. So we have to start thinking a little different because our environment is different. So if we want to lose weight or we're going to improve our health, we got to think about the toxins that we're
right.
encountering. First of all, we have to remove our environment toxins and also remove it out of our body. So it's two things that you have to do. And also too, we have to start thinking that changing the mentality, because a lot of people think that you just got to take the pill and everything else change. It's not working anymore. That's what we're paying the price for it. So I don't know. I think that we have to start switching a little bit from the mentality of 100 years ago to now. You know, that right
Yep.
now
So what
Mhm.
about bottled water? Because you mentioned that water is
Big,
good for you.
big, big problem. Yeah, you're talking bottled water. Yeah, big problem because there's a magic little thing. You know that new car smell that you get, and you think, "Oh, this is fabulous! I got this brand new car." That's actually off gassing or stuff that's coming off the different materials within the car, and it's called a phthalate.
Mm.
It's a pretend estrogen. Okay, for guys, that estrogen it leads can help assist prostate cancer along this way, which means prostate cancer can get worse.
Mm.
It can fuel it. It can actually be one of the contributors to that. For women, you're going to be talking about breast cancer, uterine cancer, and ovarian cancer. Phthalates are just they're horrible. And when people take it's particularly bad if you take it and you put it in the freezer, because we all like during the summer to have that frozen bottle to take out and it thaws and it's nice and cold, but it's full of
Mhm.
phthalates. And phthalates, plastics are really not our friend. Okay. In fact, I would tell you this, that a lot of restaurants are going to these paper straws again. Now, I got to do an analysis on what the paper straws are doing. Okay. And you also have the stuff that, depending on the fast food restaurant, there are some healthier ones. But that paper straw is healthier than the plastic straw because because of what we're talking about here. Yeah, plastic bottled water really is not our friend. You're better off having your own filtered water, having a stainless steel container at home. In fact, this is one of the things that we started on very early on. That's exactly what Georgina is talking about. Is okay. We're going to ask people to do certain things like, hey, let's drink more water. Okay. Well, water itself it's very important to have water that is actually feeding your body. So if you're putting in a phthalate, and the phthalate or a toxin is causing the problem, you're not helping yourself by drinking the water. Okay. Or if you have, like my area that I'm in has very high arsenic levels. So I have special filters on my home to take the arsenic out. Okay. That can sometimes be very difficult. So these are things that, especially in cities, I don't have chlorinated water. I have well, but my water table has this arsenic in it, right? So that has to be filtered out. I take that, filter it out. It goes into my stainless steel container. And now I've got two big jugs that I drink every day of this purified water. And I just put a system in my office that not only does that, but I can change pH on the water. So there's all these kinds of things, and we can get really fancy and talk structured water and all the rest of the stuff that we don't need to do. But just paying attention to what Georgina was talking about. Let's talk about the toxins in our water that we're trying to use to help ourselves, clean it up. Don't do
What
bottled
about
water.
fluoride?
Fluoride.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Right,
it's very detrimental for you as well. Fluoride and chloride. We just
right.
shouldn't be having it in our body.
Yeah,
You know,
it's wrong.
actually, uh-huh. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
it's a
Dr.
wrong it's a wrong form of fluoride anyway. It's not the proper form of fluoride that we're looking to get. The fluoride came about because of the way I understand it, fluoride was originally being used because there was a town in New York that didn't have, it had very little dental caries. Very few people had cavities. Few people had dental problems, and they found that they had high fluoridation rates in their water. Now that's a different type of fluoride that they started sticking in all their toothpaste and all these different mouthwashes and all the rest of this stuff. And so it's actually not a usable form or the proper form of fluoride. And but we don't, it's not widely known. So I'm not a super big advocate of fluoride. I for that reason, because I think we have it in the wrong form. Yeah.
It's
But that's
several
amazing
things.
that you say if you put the plastic bottle in the freezer, that it.
Yeah, it's worse. Yeah, because
I
you
thought
leach.
it was worse if it was hot in the back of in the car trunk.
Yep, that too. Both of them suck the phthalates right out of the plastic.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
both of
Wow.
them.
several things that you want to go ahead and really be serious about losing weight. Several things that you got to stay away. Like right now, Dr. Morris was talking about phthalates. Phthalates are those plastics that they are like, that they use it for wrapping, for mainly the plastics that they're like moldable, okay? But it's
Mm-hmm.
also the real plastic, okay? That's plastics as well. The containers that we use at home, all of that crap, we have to get rid of it, all right?
Right.
So you can replace it always with glass and stainless steel because glass doesn't leach and stainless steel doesn't leach, okay?
Right.
The other thing too is the water. We have to go ahead and get a better quality water somewhere, somehow. I always tell people too, one of the things that they can do, get a filter, even if it's a cheap filter, they can put a little bit of dash of baking soda without aluminum as well, okay? So that's the other thing. Also, we have to go ahead and start thinking about like the stuff that we put in our body. Medical toxicity exists. So we have to start thinking of being more careful what we put in our body as well. All right. That's the other thing. So if we're thinking about hormonal imbalances, because a lot of the hormones, it has a lot to do with this lead, I mean, where you find lead, it sounds like you got to go to a mart or something like that. We have it in everyday thing. Like, for instance, just a simple thing. The ladies use a lot of lipstick. We use lipstick without thinking about it. And sometimes a lot of the lipsticks that they find that 80% of the lipsticks, they have lead, for instance. All right. So, I mean, it's mercury, lead. It is that pesticides is another one. Pesticides is a big problem. We're having huge problems with pesticides. And that's something that you just can go ahead and see it every single person, every single environment right now, even in remote parts of the world, they still have these kind of problems. They have problems like this. So I'm not so sure how we can go ahead and be super clean, but we can also detoxify. Our body is very resilient. We can do so many things with us. So it is hope. It's not everything black and white. So our body has a lot of strength and it can do so many things. Now, a lot of the weight that we're getting right now, it is not really weight because people eating a lot or people they're doing a lot of this weight. It has something to do with toxins. Unfortunately, toxins, they encapsulate in fat and water. So, and when they store somewhere in the body, what happened? The body don't understand what to use it for, and it saves it somewhere. That's what it is. Just the ability of the body to do things because it's thinking maybe in the future I need it and I'm going to have access to it, right? So we have that now. If it's stored somewhere in the body and it creates a lot of inflammation as well, that's why we having a lot of chronic diseases. But right now we're using a term that Dr. Murray, weight loss resistance,
Right.
because no matter what you do, a lot of people they cannot lose weight anymore because
Yeah.
the inability to get rid of the toxins. If you don't get rid of the toxins, you're not going to be able to go nowhere sometimes.
No,
So
that's what I see a lot of. In fact, people come in and they say, "Gosh, I can't understand why I can't lose weight because my sister's best friend hairdresser did this one particular thing and they lost a ton of weight." And that may be true, but the fact of the matter is for the vast majority of my people, that come to me with concerns for weight. They want to lose weight or for a variety of reasons. You have to have the discussion about toxicity, because toxicity, you're exactly right. 100 years ago, we had a different place that we live. Okay, now it is important. It really is super important that we understand. Yes, we're being bombarded with all this stuff. You do live in Los Angeles, or Chiki, you're in San Diego, right? So you have some air issues that I don't have in northern Minnesota. My issues are not that. Okay, but you have some of these things, and you can't not breathe out there. Okay, they found that not very good, that you're just not breathing. So you have to breathe this. So, but you can do some things that can help you detoxify. And you try to limit the number of things going in within reason, and you try to find ways to get it out. Okay, and if you do these habits on a regular basis, and they're very easy, they're very doable. Part of it's just getting used to doing them. Okay, you can you become more cognizant or more conscious of what kind of things can be causing the problem, like we were talking about with the bottle of water, okay? And what kind of things I can control, and then what kind of things I can control for helping get it out, okay? And that can be, you can do that with food, you can do that with certain habits that can help with, certain nutrients can be utilized for pulling toxins. Changing your diet, you can use fasting, there's a million things that you can do naturally that you can do. I don't need to do it, Georgina doesn't need to do it, Chico, you can do this for yourself, that help you do it for yourself. And what I tell people is, look, the things we're going to talk about are going to seem like a lot. So I'm going to give you a little at a time. I'm going to drip it out to you. And the reason is if you won't do one or two things, you won't do 1,000 things. Okay. So, but I also know that once they get used to doing these things, they become what's called part of your cognitive domain. You do it naturally. It's kind of like driving to work the first time is hard, but after a while, you don't even remember driving there. You start to get good habits doing that and good detoxifying habits. So now you're controlling as much as you can coming in and regular things for getting it out. Yeah. So.
I always recommend people, Dr. Mary, they have to do it, and Chikis, they have to do it the first time with somebody that knows. Because toxins can play against you. They can bite you in the body if you don't do the right thing. Because you have to remember there's a toxin here. And if this toxin is free in your body, it can do two things. It can harm you and you can cause you serious chronic illness, or also it can reabsorb into your body if you don't do the right thing. So what you got to do, you got to free the toxin, but you have to score them out of your body, because you don't want it in your body. You got to score them out of your body in order for you to do the right thing. So you got to do it in the right steps. I always tell people, the first time you got to do it with somebody that knows to walk you through the process. The second time, maybe you already knows what to do and you can do it yourself. But you have to do it in the steps. In order for you to go ahead and improve.
Right.
Now, a lot of people say, well, the main reason that we having belly fat and we having this thing is because we having hormonal imbalances, right? So this is the same thing. If you have hormonal imbalances and you're having weight issues, it means that you just have to get rid of toxins in order for you to improve it, but you have to do it correctly. So a lot of people have been giving me that hormonal thing. And I always tell people, dude, one day the hormones wake up and they go like, I don't want to work today. I'm going to give up on my job. No, that's not how the body works. So it has to be for a reason that something is not working in our body. Okay. So that's
I think the hormones, when you have hypothyroidism, that's what they say.
You know what? I think
they
the
also make you fall asleep everywhere.
I really relate tiresome. I don't know about you, Dr. Marie. When I see somebody with a hypothyroidism, I always relate it with toxins.
Toxins, you have to.
Arthritis.
Absolutely.
They need to be escorted out.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. So the toxins, now so the question people are going to ask is, well, how am I going to get my body to escort them out better, or how this is going to happen? I mean, you have these different organs in your body that help you do this. Liver is a major organ of detoxification. We usually focus a whole ton of time on the liver. We may not talk about it, or we might talk about it, depending upon how sophisticated somebody is. But the whole idea is, if you imagine this, The body frees up a toxin like a factory just made something. And then it's got to be packaged up. It has to be put on a truck and it has to be run out of town. Okay. That's what has to happen. And those are like these different phases within the liver itself that help with freeing up a toxin, conjugating this toxin, packaging it up, putting it on a truck, and it typically goes out through the bowel. Okay. This has to happen. Okay. And if you're like Georgina's talking about somebody not doing very well because they are doing this with somebody because you cannot do it very well. I see this all the time. People are like, oh, I can't do a detoxification because I get so sick. And you start to investigate this and you find out what they're doing is they're doing a lot of things to package up, okay, or to free the toxin and package it up, but it doesn't go anywhere. And what happens is it goes right back into the system. And what Georgina is talking about, sometimes it ends up in a different place, like maybe perhaps your brain, okay, or maybe one of your organs that affects your hormones, or maybe, you know, whatever affects your heart. That doesn't matter. There's this, it can go anywhere, okay. And so it's really important that you learn how to do it properly, that you get this sense of how your body's function, learning the proper tools, actually balancing those phases of liver detoxification out, for instance. And then when you come in the second time, okay, maybe you need somebody, maybe you don't, that you've got a handle on this, but you have a process for understanding what to do. And that's what Georgina is talking about is, you know what, I see a lot of people that have tried to do detoxing themselves, don't understand it. They do part of it good and the rest is really bad, and they end up sicker than when they started.
So it's something oh, I don't know. It sounds like, but anyway, it's something in medicine. They call it the healing crisis. I don't know
Yeah,
if you ever heard of it.
the
It's
healing
completely
crisis.
different when you get the healing crisis is that you already, you know, the toxins, they making an impact inside you because everything is moving inside, it's cleaning up. So your body is changing. But another one is when you get sick, and that happens a lot when you're doing it incorrectly. So the
Right,
healing crisis is not going to be so severe, so bad. You're going to feel bad, but it's going to be very short time, and it's going to be some mild symptoms. But when you have it really bad, you have to stop because a lot of people, that's what they don't know, that they can hurt themselves.
right.
But it's two different type of things. The healing crisis is normal, though,
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
do it. Mhm.
yeah. So the healing crisis is a lot like the person, like this time of year, everybody's starting their new exercise program. And you really want to, like when I'm coaching, like my original training was pro and Olympic athletes. Like, I don't care if you're a pro and Olympic athletes, you need to do things in a certain sequence, or 13 weeks from now, you're not going to be able to move. You're going to be injured all the time. So we take them through this process of holding back the reins, getting them to do it a certain way. So 13 weeks from now, they start to peak rather than being damaged. Okay. And when everybody's starting their exercise program now, they go like crazy and they're in the gym and they see everybody and they're really excited and they say, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And the next morning they wake up and go, oh, I never want to do that again. Okay. This happens so much, and they hurt themselves, and it's sort of like, if you just did it a little bit differently, you held back and you just did it where it seemed like, you don't go in there and try to imitate the guy that's been in the gym every day for the last 5 years. Okay. Don't pick up the same weights. You're going to have to pick up an empty barbell sometimes. Okay. Because that's where you're at. All right. So that's kind of the same way it is with the detoxifying, is you have to, the healing crisis is sort of like, I get the soreness from working out, but I don't get totally obliterated from it. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't typically see people getting obliterated during a healing crisis. Usually that means we need to go back and redo it a different way, a lot more subtle. There's a nuance to it. And that's where, really, this is, I think, what Georgina was talking about with the assistance, that it's really a great idea, especially if you don't have a lot of experience with this.
Well, I hope that you can ask those questions. I don't know why it sounds like echo when I talk. I don't know why, what I'm doing here. Okay, I don't have nothing else here, so I don't know, because it's so big a space. So maybe that's why.
Maybe.
But anyways, so one of the things I would love to see, if people they're watching us, that they can send us questions if they have up there something, and they can tell us, what are the struggles and stuff like that. Yeah, but we can keep talking about weight loss. I think that most people, they don't lose weight because I see a lot of the yo-yo diets. They one day are here, the next day they don't lose, and then the next day they're in the same shape. You know, the yo-yo diet, I definitely, there's a lot of people in it, and you know, I think that a lot of the diets are just bluff. You know, because a lot of the times they ended up in worse shape than what they started with. You know, they hurt themselves, like health wise, a lot. Do you have any diets that you recommend, Dr. Murray? I don't recommend diets. I don't know about you.
No, no. Listen, um, I don't recommend diets mostly because I recommend making food choices. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I choose this food over this choice, right? I used to teach this class. Um, I would do these really complicated food programs for people and go, I'm doing genetic tests. I'm doing all kinds of different tests to figure out this program. And the people would go, oh, that's really great. And they wouldn't do it. Right. And I had a lot of this one year and I thought I got to do something different. So I invited everybody. We're going to have like special evening. We got special hors d'oeuvres. We got all this. It's a very nice night. We got like 45 people there, and I've got my little whiteboard up there with a line down the middle. It's got this red line down the middle. It's got a picture of an apple on one side and a picture of a Twinkie on the other, right? And so everybody's really excited, and you know, I kind of say, we're glad we're all here. We're here. We're going to talk about a life-changing strategy for weight loss, right? And and so I say, okay, we got apple here and we got Twinkie here. Which one is healthier? All right. Everybody kind of laughs, and you got the guy in the back that says the Twinkie, right? And it's like, okay, let's not count the white delicious center. We're just going to go with the fluffy part of the Twinkie and the apple. Which is healthier for you? And it's like, well, of course it's the apple. And I said, okay, if it looks more like an apple, I want you to eat it. But if it looks more like the Twinkie, you're not eating it. Any questions? And everybody's like, no, no questions. And they're waiting for the rest of the class. That was the class. Because if you can't get that straight, that it's that simple, if it looks more like an apple, eat it. If it looks like a Twinkie, don't eat it. You're not going to get very far in any kind of weight loss program. All right. So I don't.
No pan dulce.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you can have delicious. I mean, I eat all kinds of really delicious foods it's funny how much fun you can have eating good stuff. In fact, what's so cool is when you're eating stuff that you kind of go, this can't be good for me. That's a really good feeling. This can't be good for me because it tastes really, really good. I want seconds, okay? And I'm not afraid of getting seconds because it's actually good for me. It's really it's a really cool sensation. And it takes a while. Our taste buds get mixed up, our enzymes are mixed up. There's all these things that are happening within us that makes us like the Twinkie better, okay? But when you transition over to the apple, man, life is different. I don't recommend diets anymore. I recommend food choices. We have to sometimes customize food choices. If you've got hormone problems, certain foods will be better than other foods. Okay, we talked about thyroid. Thyroid's very frustrating I do tons of thyroid work. We have to do certain things with that. People have there are certain foods like a nightshade for some people. Nightshades are like tomatoes and white potatoes and things like that. These things for some people are toxic. Okay, there can be a wrong food. Now I might make choices like that. Okay, but I never do. We're going to do the grapefruit with an egg diet. Okay, I don't do that kind of crazy stuff. It makes no sense. It's not. It's the diet isn't the fat's not the problem. The fat's an outward sign of an inward problem. Okay, so how about we work on the inward problem so that next year it's easier to walk out to your mailbox. Okay, that when you wake up in the morning, you start to have like it's not you. Your first thought is I should hit the alarm for the seventh time. Okay, it's that I want to get up and I'm ready to go. Wouldn't that be cool? Okay, and everything starts to change. Your head starts to clear out. I mean, there are so many things, and some of the things that we talked about, like toxicity, can have a lot to do with that. Or, doing these things that we're talking about in a certain way can give you clarity of mind. It can give you more energy. It can be my feet feel better and I don't get the sock line. I don't get that dent in my sock line. I mean, something goofy like that, because Georgina was talking about inflammation earlier. These I know these sound goofy, but these are really cool things because they're outward signs of inward progress when they get better. And it is possible.
So we get into
So it's not a diet, it's a healthy lifestyle, right?
I'm sorry, what's that?
It's not dieting, but eating healthy as a lifestyle.
It's yeah. You know what? I took a survey. This is crazy. I took a survey and found out I had 0 patients that were force fed, which means everything that goes into their mouth is a choice, right? So choose something. Choose whatever it is you're going to choose, but understand there's a relationship between what you're choosing and what you're getting. And sometimes, if you can make it through this transition to choosing better, okay, it starts to roll in the right direction in really fabulous ways where you kind of feel weird. You go out with your buddies and and you're looking and you're thinking, I know this sounds crazy, but that salad looks really good tonight. And you actually think this, which is really cool.
What do you think about exercise? How much exercise? You see, the thing is, this is the other thing, that misconception about losing weight. People think that they can eat anything, that they can do anything, that they can be exposed to anything, abuse their body, and then just go 2 hours to the gym, and that's it. That's purify everything else. I'm having a
And they
lot of
think
issues with that.
they could sweat it out.
Yeah, no, but I have a lot of issues with that because to me, I think the exercise is overrated. And I think it's also because it's a business, though. We got to go ahead and talk the way it is, all right? It is a business.
For the
A lot
gym,
of
yeah.
times they go like, yeah, you have to be super fit because you buy this machine. You got to get to the gym, get to this, but I think the exercise in reality is overrated. I think that you have to move, but not like hours and hours. Because also too, I always put this thing in people. If exercise is the healthiest thing for us, why the professional sport people, whatever the professional athletes, they retire before any other career? Most of them, they retire because they have problems with the joints. They retire with some sort of problems with the body. The body is not stretching out that much. So
An injury.
yeah, most of them, they have injuries, and that's why they retire so early. So that means that the body is not designed for that. I mean, it is designed to move, to stretch, to do exercise, but not like that much. And so many people, like for instance, I noticed a lot of people, they go like 2 hours, 3 hours to the gym. You don't need that much exercise. You need some movement, yes, but you don't need that much exercise as well.
No,
I think
I
that
agree.
is overrated. So
I had a
don't
guy.
know.
Yeah, I had a guy 380 pounds. Now he was 6'6", 380 pounds. This guy would get on a stair stepper and he'd be on the stair stepper every morning, 6 days a week for 2.5 hours. And came to me, he's like, man, I can't lose a nickel of weight. Okay, it's like, wow, we're going to take away your stair stepper for starters. Because part of, it's a little more complicated, but you can be actually driving the problem. In other words, if you have an adrenal problem, that's your fight or flight organ, and you're doing this 2.5 hours a day program, right, of exercise, hitting it hard, your adrenal, your adrenal wears out. Kind of think of it that way. Your adrenal gland wears out, and you will put on a gut that will be not like the beer gut. It'll be a sagging and hanging gut. Okay, and you'll start to have you'll start to get brain fog, and you'll start to get achy all over the place, and all these things that go along with that. And you're like, well, I don't know. I'm exercising 2.5 hours a day. On your point of this, if exercising, like, I don't have a lot of people that can eat too much good food. That's not a common problem because most of the food is really nutrient dense, and you just don't. Okay, I mean, I suppose there's people that are probably experts at overeating really good food, But I'm not talking delicious food. I'm talking about try to eat a big monster salad every meal for 2 weeks and see how you feel at the end. You're not even going to be able to finish your salad because it's so nutrient dense and your body stores up really good stuff. It will make you feel fantastic, but they don't look. But and I would, to your example as far as the pro athletes, who's one of the top performing athletes in all of football right now, and how old is the guy? Okay, this guy
Is that
named
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady. You bet. Tom Brady's in his 40s. Okay, he's playing a position that definitely has an expiration date on it, and this guy's put his expiration date at over 50 years old, which is kind of pushing into a normal retirement date. And if you look at what he does, this guy's very particular about his diet. He's very particular about his exercise program. He's very particular. He doesn't overdo it. He's learned the secret of moderation. This guy, listen, I've studied this guy. He's doing a lot of things really right. And that's the reason this guy's a top performer. He isn't the guy that's limping around the field at his age. Okay. He's made a lot of really good decisions. And you know what? That's great. He's proof positive that you can do it. Anybody on here right now, I don't care who you are, you can be healthier next year than you are right now. We're talking about weight loss. I can't.
Thank you, Dr. Murray.
Huh?
Thank you, Dr. Murray. You've given me hope.
There is always hope. There is always hope. I'm telling you.
Once you have a life, you have hope, right?
Yeah. You know what?
And you too, Dr. Georgina. Thank you, both of you guys, for your faith in humanity.
That's what they call it now, faith in humanity.
It's true though. This is so true. I have had people in that when they walk in in my office and they say, "Hey, I want to try to get healthy." I'm like, "Oh, wow." I'm just, wow. Okay. Okay. We both got to pray for patience on this one though, because wow, you are got a lot. In fact, one of my last patients tonight was this guy. I started with him 3 years ago, and I could go on with a laundry. Think of all the bad things that you could possibly think that would happen to a human being, and this guy had it. Okay, that was 3 years ago, and this guy just got done. Called me from the gym. He just got done with a nice 45-minute workout. That was something we had set up, and it was, and he got married 2 years ago, or no, that's not true. He got married last year, 21. He got married last summer. Anyway, this is a guy who thought he'd never get married, and the fact that he's made all these good choices has made him, more attractive. He feels better. He's alive. He's got this zest in his life. Now, is he perfect? His wife is definitely going to help him because he's got a ways to go. But it's really cool to see. It is so cool. And some of these changes, our thing we're talking about tonight is this weight loss. And I would tell you folks that it is something that you can do that's very doable. You can start with very simple things. It doesn't have to be complicated. Having a good coach, man, or some people helping you,
And
paramount.
the right information, Dr. Maria. Also, too, I
Right.
see so many programs, so many gurus that they talk about some stuff that they can even hurt somebody. I see some stuff that they are very, very dangerous to do. Since the time that started we having a problems with weight until now, I see over and over and over people, even doctors, sometimes they recommend you some stuff that they can hurt you. I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah.
remember back in the 70s, they used to give you the teniazolium, the parasite, the teniazolium, the egg.
Oh, they gave you a parasite.
Yeah, they give you a
Yeah,
do
for
you
weight
know the
loss.
teniazolium, right? Teniazolium can grow up to 20 meters. Listen to this, meters inside your body, okay?
That's
And
60 feet, folks.
right, and then on top of it, that parasite, it provides a lot of eggs. Some of those sex, and I know people that they have this, okay? It can go to your brain.
Right. Yeah,
So
I need
parasites.
my brain.
what
No,
they
no.
call it certocytosis, something like that, that disease. But it was a
Right.
lot of people that they have that. They used to get it from doctors. They used to give them the pill, you take it and you get the parasite. I'm like,
Right.
that's not right.
Right.
Then on top of it, a lot of pharmaceuticals that they get that they're very addictive and they don't even lose weight. They get to the point where they get plateau and they don't lose weight. Now, the other thing too that I see a lot of them is the surgeries. I don't know if somebody can live with half of the stomach less and they have a lot of issues later on. And then they gain weight anyways if they don't take care of
Right.
themselves. They're going back to square one. So and I like I tell you, we have to stop cutting corners. That's basically what we have to do. We got to do
Right.
it. We got to ride the bull and grab it by the horns and do the right thing, right?
Right. Hey, you know what? So we're talking about this bariatric surgery where they're basically stapling off half of the stomach, so your stomach is smaller, you're consuming less because you fill up faster. This is the philosophy, right? So I have a close friend of mine. He's a really fabulous surgeon. He says he hates working on those people. Okay, and the reason he hates working on it is because of the way it changes their digestion and actually their absorption of nutrients downstream. He says when you have to do surgery on them, he said it's like threading wet paper. Okay, so you imagine trying to sew somebody up. It's wet paper. How can you get that wound to close up? He said these people always have problems downstream. The people that he works on. He says this is crazy. He said they're doing one thing for this weight loss. They end up gaining the weight. The vast majority of them gain the weight back anyway. And now they've got this tissue that just is almost impossible to work on, which is again an outward sign of. Can you imagine what's happening on the inside? So I think that cutting corners like that, I understand why people do it. I absolutely understand. I took 6 years, almost 7 years, dedicated to setting up a natural healthcare program on a reservation. Okay, a Native American reservation in this very remote part of Minnesota. It's the area that Verizon doesn't even claim to cover. They're like, yeah, we don't worry about that area. It's so remote, and their
Wow.
obesity is very, very high. Their diabetes rate is in the Native American community globally or throughout the United States, I should say, is about 2.5 times the diabetes rate. On that reservation, it was almost 4 times. So they've got massive diabetes. And I saw those people all the time with this post-bariatric surgery because they're very large and they do this. And their problems that they have, you can't even make up. It's just terrible. It's terrible to see. So I agree. The cutting corners, especially the reason I was there was was to design a program that they could implement for these people to do exactly what we're talking about. That is something that when you there are certain things that are part of their culture that are very difficult that are really not that fuel the problem. So you have to do something that's consistent with their culture, but in a way that's healthier. And then also doing a lot of things that we're talking about here or that we would recommend that people do in addition to the stuff that's congruent with their culture. Okay, very, very tight needle to the thread, but very doable. We saw some phenomenal things. But you want to talk about people that I'd seen so many people post bariatric surgery there trying to fix this, and it was not good. The picture wasn't good. So
Yeah, the side effects are very bad. But anyways, we're gonna about to finish this, but also too, we're gonna talk about next time we're gonna talk about something that's very favorite of mine. These parasites, because you know one thing I
oh yeah,
like to talk about parasites because people get like creepy, and
Yeah.
I love to talk about that because people get a little creepy though about it.
you know what really creeps them out is when people name their parasites. I mean, I've seen that. So
So maybe next time
Whenever
we're
I
gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna tell you my story. I did have parasites, and maybe after everybody's gonna hate me. All right, but I'm gonna tell you about my story. I did have parasites when I was a kid, and it was a very bad one. So, all right, so if you want to give one
I'll
advice,
share mine as well.
okay, if you're gonna
I
give
got a
one advice
parasite
for
story too.
kids.
No,
You
go
want to
ahead.
give lots of
Sorry.
guys, what would you do? One little tip to lose weight. What would you do, Dr. Marie?
What's
Okay, well, okay, so we're not going to do, you're going to, like, I like your water idea. I think that's a great way to, for me, if I were to go to the next thing, I think that I always have people write a diet diary, okay, which means anything that passes your lips is voluntary, okay, because we said you're not force fed. I want you to write down, I don't care if it's a mint, okay, I want you to write it down. I don't care if you went to the closet, cut the brownie in 4 sections, turned off the lights, and ate it. That still counts, okay? Everything counts. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to look at the raw truth. And that's what I would recommend they do. Okay?
Okay,
And then
good.
play Twinkie versus Apple. Okay?
Okay. One of the things I gotta tell everybody is also to forget about the 8 glasses of water. You gotta drink the right amount of water that belongs to you. Because a lot of people they drink even way, way lesser. All right. So what I always tell is, given the formula, maybe this is my last tip and my last thing that we're gonna talk about. It is, you gotta get your body weight divided by half, and that's the amount of ounces that you gotta drink of water a day. So for instance, if you are 300 pounds, you're gonna be drinking 150 ounces of water every single day, right? If you are 120, you're gonna be drinking 60 ounces of water a day, all right? That's the amount of 8 glasses of water, about that much. That's the 8 glasses of water for 8 ounces glasses of water. That's about that much, okay? Not like when you're 400, 300, 250 pounds and you're gonna be drinking 8 glasses of water. It doesn't work like that. Or a baby that you're gonna give it 8 glasses of water. It doesn't work like that. Now, when people drink alcohol or drink coffee, because coffee is a big problem now, all right? When people drink coffee, 1 cup of coffee, 2 cups of water adding to the math. And if you anybody drink alcohol, they got to add more water to the pie. So that's what it's going to be for me, and that's it.
Awesome.
It's a very good advice, though, honestly. So next time we're gonna go ahead and talk about parasites, so the creepy crawlers. So prepare yourself for the worst. All right. So, well, thank you, Chiquis. Thank you, Dr. Murray. Any
Thank
last
you.
thoughts?
Thank you guys.
Yes,
It was
thank you so much. What an awesome evening. So, blessings.
always good with you guys. It's always good to be
Stay
with you guys.
healthy. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay.
Peace.
Bye. Love you guys.
Love you.